Hi traders, this is Chris from Elite Currency. Time for another Bitcoin video because the $10,000 mark has already been hit and actually price exceeded that. So when we were analyzing it, it was around 7.5K. So I thought, okay, that will take a little bit of time before we hit that target, but not really. It is really going quickly and it's a rocket at this moment. Let's take a look right now. All right, here we're going to take a look at the daily chart. You can see price basically, a rocket just accelerating even more so than it was already in an uptrend. Quite fascinating to see the moving averages being pulled away further and further, and price is really starting to pull away from this 21 EMA. We had basically just a sprint from this little bit of a pause at 8,000 right up to 11,000. There was on the lower time frame, we're analyzing a potential head and shoulders here, and I think that it was around, let me take a look, a little bit further back here. So there was a bit of a consolidation here, head and shoulders partly playing out because we did have a dip for $300, but then price ruthlessly in a way just continuing with momentum up for 3,000. Then not at 10, but at 11,000 somehow turning back to the downside. So exceeding even that 10K target with some strong bearish momentum here. Now, so far, bearish momentum has not seen much follow through. Typically, any dips were just retracements for more upside. Now, with the 10K level, I'm not sure if that's going to be different. It is more difficult, I think, to analyze this technically than currency pairs or traditional commodities. But with my best of ability, this bearish momentum, if I would be looking at a currency pair chart, I would say that this is a bearish momentum and we'd see an ABC zigzag. Who knows if that's going to happen with Bitcoin? It's really difficult to say with the uptrend so strong. But let me frame it differently. If price were to get down to these targets, there could be bouncing spots, right? 8,400, 7,500 could be levels to think about as a bounce spot for uptrend continuation. In fact, I was talking about the daily chart in the past and saying, okay, if it gets, I think I was using this bottom in here, wasn't I? 2.5, not sure now. We can even use, let's see, we can use, to be conservative, maybe even this bottom, excuse me. And it doesn't have to be that deep necessarily, this retracement. Price already hit 9,000 in that same day. 8,400 could be all it went. If we get a bigger correction or retracement, we might think about 7,500, 8,200 here. All in all, excuse me, the support very much intact within this uptrend, right? So we can just put horizontal levels in here, plus these fibs, like this, and any retracement that we might get could be good for a bouncing continuation. With this much momentum, I don't think we'll get much deeper than this zone, if price gets there at all. Right? For the moment, not expecting a bigger retracement. It might happen once price gets up to 15, and we might see a bigger kind of retracement. I'm still waiting for a bigger flag or triangle pattern, but it's difficult to tell when that could happen. With this kind of volatility in the market, it is very difficult to tell when that might occur. All right, so for the moment, strong momentum bars just totally bringing it to a different level for the moment. And here we had still some weeks that we had retracements. For the moment, this is bullish momentum. Every week has had a higher high almost. Every week has almost had a higher low, and it's lasted ever since this moment here. So this basically could continue. Let's see how this week's weekly candle closes. If it is a wick on top, it might signal that retracement. If it closes near the high, then next week we might see just a continuation right, straight away to that 15,000 target, the next psychological level, basically, or even 12.5, of course, is a mini level to consider. So it could right away go to 12.5 or 15 if perhaps there's a good bullish candle that we get this week. Then there could be a small retracement of maybe this week's candle, and up it goes. That's basically how momentum behaves. It's just kind of a snowball that keeps falling, right? Keep rolling. If there's a big wick here, and technically speaking, a retracement back to support, as I already indicated, in this zone, somewhere in this zone, maybe even here, but probably more in around this area, 7,500, 800, 7,500, 8,000, could be a good bouncing spot for continuation. All right. More free material coming up here through elitecurrency.com. Of course, free analysis and free material. Our ECS.start package is available for you to try out. And wish you all good trading. Cheers.